It is time to learn. I want to talk about, I got this from FS Brain Food, and I want to talk about learning. And they're talking about learning baggage. Is that we feel like we should be doing something else and that our time could be better being productive in doing instead of taking the time to stop and learn. To stop, read the book. Stop, pick a project of something you want to learn. Spend 2 hours and do that. Schedule it. Whatever it takes for you to daily learn. Enjoy it. For me, I get a lot of different emails. I'll get 150 emails, and some I read, some I don't. But I enjoy taking the time. It's about 45 minutes and going through them. And I read and I learn and I see I have stock charts in there. I have macroeconomic stuff that I like to understand. I have artificial intelligence. I have technology. I have marketing. I have all these different newsletters I get. And I love reading them. And I'm not going to do anything else. I cut my email off, cut Slack off, and I take the time to enjoy, because every time when I take the time to do it, I actually learn something new. Almost every day. When I don't do it, or I just go through and delete them real quick off my Gmail, I didn't learn anything that day. It's amazing, especially it's in your craft, whatever you are. Like for me, it's marketing. There's new things coming out, digital marketing, new things coming out every single minute. Facebook comes out with this, Meta, Snapchat comes out with this, TikTok's doing this, this, and this. Instagram. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so I want to keep track of all those things, and I want to learn not just the craft that I'm in, but I want to learn. I like to lift weights and be healthy. So I go on YouTube. I take the time to go on YouTube. I don't watch as many shows anymore on Netflix. I watch YouTube podcasts, something that I could learn that interests me. And maybe it's a hobby that you want to learn. My girlfriend's she's into bonsais right now. She's bought like 10 of them. And she's like trimming them up and watching on YouTube. That's so good for the brain. Getting moss in these little containers. And it's just so cool to see. It's exciting because you're doing something that is productive. You shouldn't be doing anything else but that. Enjoy it. And this is interesting because I think a lot of times we don't have the time to learn. We don't take the time to learn because a lot of things we haven't quit that we need to. And Annie Duke said this: a common misconception about quitting is that it will slow your progress or stop it altogether. But it is the reverse that is actually true. If you stick to a path that is no longer worth pursuing, whether it's a relationship that isn't going well, or a stock that you've invested in that's losing money, or an employee that you've hired who isn't performing, that is when you lose ground. By not quitting, you are missing out on the opportunity to switch to something that will create more progress towards your goals. Anytime you stay mired, love that word, guys, mired in a losing endeavor, that is when you are slowing your progress. Anytime you stick to something when there are better opportunities out there, that is when you are slowing your progress. Contrary to popular belief, she says, quitting will get you to where you want to go faster. And we all know deep down inside the things that we need to quit. You need more time? Quit some things that are unproductive. I was talking to somebody else and they have so much pressure on kid stuff. They have their kids doing like 40 hours a week of extracurricular activities, like 5 different things on top of all the homework that schools give nowadays, which is crazy. These kids are stressed out. The parents are stressed out. Why? And then I asked the kids, I was like, I was talking to one of them privately, and they're like, I absolutely hate doing this, this, and this, but my parents are making me. Who does that benefit? How about they focus on 1 or 2 things that they love, and they can be creative and have the freedom to be able to do that? How about you don't be running kids from here to there to everywhere on top of working a full-time job and doing this and doing that? Let your kids chill. Let them relax. In fact, what's even better, why don't you relax, take a book, take a breath, and learn. It's that simple. I like this part too in this brain food. It says this: where you focus can hold you back. Focusing on the outcome makes the gap between now and the finish line seem larger than it is. So this is something that we've all heard before, but we don't implement. When you begin to focus on the gap from I want to be a multimillionaire to I have $0 in the bank, that multi-millions can seem, there's a gap there, a huge gap. What's the next step? Well, I know I need to get a job. I know I need to, what does it take to get a job? Well, I need to stop being lazy. I need to iron my clothes. Maybe you can only do a few things at a time. So one day you iron your clothes. The next day you go to the library and use the computer and apply for 5 places. Maybe you have to take it in slow steps, but don't look at the gap. Look at where you want to go. What does it look like? You want to be a multimillionaire, you're going to need to own a business or multiple businesses. You need multiple streams of income that are coming in. And you got to stop spending money on things that don't give you a return. It's that simple. Do things that provide income, not just a regular income. I'm talking like a passive income, whether it's real estate, buy real estate and have somebody. I heard a great idea the other day. Somebody said, buy your kids a house when they're born, rent it out, and then by the time they're 20, the house is almost paid off. If you get a 20-year mortgage. By the time they're 20, they have a house. Isn't that crazy? There's just so many cool things that we can do that relates to money. One of the things, go on YouTube and start learning about money. Most people want a bunch of money, but they don't want to take the time to learn about it, understand it. Money's just energy. And think about that for a while. Let it blow your mind. That's all it is. Focus on doing the small things. For instance, don't focus on, I got to go to the gym 7 days a week. How about you make a good, healthy meal tonight? Focus on the next steps. And also understand, and this is the last thing that was really cool in this, is active optimism. Optimism is seeing problems as challenges that are solvable. That's what optimism is. I see this challenge. I think I can solve it. It's having the confidence that there are things that we can do to make a difference. That's urgent optimism. And he goes into describing urgent optimism, pragmatic optimism, realistic optimism, impatient optimism. So whenever you look at these, the urgent, the pragmatic, the realistic, and the impatient. And I don't want to get too heavy in this because I think whenever we are thinking about the worst thing that will happen, worst case scenario, and we don't have optimism, to me, optimism is this hopeful confidence that will create action. Pessimism always creates inaction. It destroys momentum, and it just keeps you where you are, status quo. And I'm not talking about, it's good. I like having kind of pessimistic people on my team. I like people that will buy in, but it takes them a little bit longer than everybody else. So they maybe still be optimistic. They're just patiently optimistic. I like those type of people. And like today I had a meeting and I was like, hey, I named the person. I was like, I need you to push back on me with this idea that I have. I like different perspectives. So you don't just want to have a team full of super optimistic people. You need different levels of that. And in leadership, I believe confident optimism is a superpower because that's what creates action. One of the things that, I'll tell you the story and then I'll go. One of the things that I realized when COVID hit was that I needed to be optimistic. I had to have confidence, not buy into all the craziness that was going on back and forth, and figure out a way where everybody could be safe, one. And number two, we could still work because humans need to be productive and work. And number three, how can I daily be optimistic to people? And I probably should be more like this automatically all the time, not just during a time of our crisis. You know what I mean? I should probably be a little bit more optimistic than I even am now, because I can be like really practical, really focused, and not take the time. During COVID, I took the time to lead properly. I took the time to share vision, share optimism, like in the sense of, guys, here's where we're going. Here's what we're going to do. It was optimism that was filled with compassion. And I brought everybody, because it was an amazing time in the sense of, for our team and for our business, and it was amazing in that sense. I know the world and tons of people died and all that. That was horrific. It was a crisis. But in times of crisis, I think optimism wins in the end, every time. Even being optimistic till the end. Let's say it's worst case scenario and you're going to die. At least be fucking optimistic until the end, right? I mean, good God, why just lay there and die? Maybe that's a Marine Corps that taught me that part. I don't know, but I'm gonna be optimistic and fight to the end and think I can win. And I love that when it inspires people. We watch movies and that's what we see: the superhero getting their ass kicked, trying to figure out, going through some crisis, and then they turn around, get some external help, somebody, a human or somebody like that helps them, and then next thing you know, they're kicking ass, right? That's the story. It's the hero's journey. And that's optimism in play, right? And so I encourage you as a leader, take the time to learn. I encourage you as a leader to understand that results aren't pretty, that sometimes you need to quit things to gain clarity, that sometimes you need to quit things to gain progress. And in all of it, just put an umbrella of active optimism. And I hope this helps, guys. If you like the podcast, I encourage you, sign up for our email. You can go to abqpodcast.com. That's abqpodcast.com. And put your email address in there. It'll pop right up. It's not too bad of an annoying pop-up, but it's a pop-up. Put your email in there, and would love to be able to get you on the mailing list. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Hope that you have an amazing week. Let's practice leadership.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.